Okay, today we're going to talk about asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Go ahead and write down asexual reproduction. That can kind of be your heading. And then this definition below. A type of reproduction in which a new organism is produced from one parent and has DNA identical to that parent. So asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction in which a new organism is produced from one parent and has DNA identical to that parent. Asexual means one parent. So mitosis is an example of asexual reproduction. If I have a skin cell that's deciding to make more skin cells, it's going to copy its DNA in interphase and then go to prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. And now I have two cells with identical DNA, and they came from one cell. So that would be an example of asexual reproduction. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause. You don't need to write anything here. Just some things I kind of wanted to look at. There's asexual reproduction called fission. Bacteria does fission. It's for things without a nucleus, which if you are a cell without a nucleus, you are a prokaryote. So prokaryotes will do a thing called fission, where they copy themselves and then split. The thing about bacteria and fission is it can happen very quickly. Okay, a lot of your sicknesses are from bacteria. Okay, if you get, let's say, food poisoning, you eat some bad eggs or something, okay, you will be sick very soon. Okay, because what happened was you ate some bad bacteria that then reproduced and reproduced and reproduced and reproduced, and the more it reproduced, the more it made you sick. So one or two bacteria is not going to hurt anything, but those two bacteria reproduce and reproduce and reproduce and reproduce, and now you may be sick. Bacteria is very quick to reproduce using fission. There's also asexual reproduction called budding. You don't need to write anything here. Where new organisms form on the side of another. When the bud becomes large enough, it breaks off. So basically, it kind of starts as a growth and then eventually splits off. Yeast is an example. You will have a yeast cell, and it will start budding. It'll start growing on a bud on the side of it, and then once it gets big enough, it will split into two yeast cells. There's one parent, so it is asexual reproduction. It'd be kind of crazy if humans reproduce like this. Like if all of a sudden you had this weird growth on like your shoulder, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and human-sized and human-shaped, and then all of a sudden it split off and you had a baby. That'd be kind of weird. It doesn't happen that way with humans, though. Regeneration, you might be familiar with this. Why don't you write this down? A process that uses cell division to regrow body parts. Regeneration is a process that uses cell division to regrow body parts. You're probably familiar with like starfish. If you look at this picture here, it's got two big legs and then it lost those three. So whatever happened, something tore off those three legs and it's starting to grow them back. We used to dissect starfish, and there were a couple of years there where they would have missing arms or legs, whatever you want to call them, and then there'd be a new one starting to bud. So it had four big ones, and then it'd have a small one here that was growing at the time, which was kind of cool. There's some lizards do this, where they lose their tail to get away from a predator, and then they can grow it back. There's some amphibians that can regenerate legs, which is kind of cool. Salamanders, don't need to write anything, can regenerate legs. When a salamander is in its larval stage, it can regenerate a limb in 30 to 40 days. Adult salamanders can also regenerate limbs, but it takes longer, and the leg is not quite as large as the original. Our crayfish, we'll dissect crayfish this year. In the past, there would be crayfish with, they got the pincher things, you know. One of them would be way tiny compared to the other one. Well, that one was regenerated. They can regenerate pinchers. It'd be kind of cool if humans could regenerate things. Like if you cut off your thumb, it would grow back. That would probably lead to some weird YouTube videos, though. So, kind of cool. Maybe down the line there'll be some pill that you can take that will cause you to regenerate an arm or toes or something if something happens to them. Let's call that good. So we didn't write too much, and there we go.